Yo, what up? It's your man 410 Josh, back at it for Hot Topic Mondays on hip hop underscore 4123. If you haven't done already, subscribe to my page 410 Josh on YouTube. Check out my first video, just the album reviews for Friday releases. Check that out. Like, share, subscribe, and comment to that. And today we're going to get into the hot topics on Monday. You know, it's a lot of things going on in hip hop and in the culture today that, you know, get discussed. And I know some people are tired of hearing about it, but you know how it is when you got a hot topic and it's a story that, you know, people talking about, you know, we gotta discuss it. And when we discuss it, I'm going to give you my perspective on it as well. So let's get into some of the hot topics on Monday. And first thing we're going to do is talk about Drake. So Drake just released the album For All My Dogs, and apparently he has he tied Michael Jackson for the most for the most number one hot singles on Billboard 100. Most people, you know, that's their favorite song, First Person Shooter with J. Cole, for that Drake album. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I don't want to sound like a hater because I do like Drake as an artist, but I'm really get irritated when I hear about these accolades that artists of today are getting as comparing to like the legends and icons of the past, especially somebody like a Michael Jackson, because Drake and every other artist of today that has come out has the luxury of the internet. So the way you calculate sales, you know, with algorithms and streaming and downloads, it's not the same as when Michael Jackson dropped Thriller or Off the Wall and Bad and Dangerous and History. You know, Michael Jackson fans went out and actually purchased these albums. They went to record stores. They stood in line. You know, they ordered through the mail. If you old enough to remember Columbia House. So when Michael Jackson set these records, people literally got up out of their bed, got in their car, caught the bus, rode their bike. However they had to do it, they went and stood in line at these stores. So when people talk about these sales, you know, as far as Drake having, you know, tying Michael Jackson, it's a little misleading. Not even little, it's really misleading, because Michael Jackson didn't have the luxury of the internet. If Michael Jackson had the luxury of the internet with Thriller, Off the Wall, Bad, I mean, he probably could be close to 50 billion, 100 billion. You know, his album sales would be so far out, it'd be impossible to reach. He would be like Bill Russell on steroids 10 times. You know, no disrespect to Bill Russell, not saying literally he's on sales, but his sales and his stats would be so far out that it would be impossible to reach. So, you know, while, okay, that's a good look for Drake in today. For me as a fan, you know, being that I grew up on Michael Jackson's solo artists, you know, the way they put together these sales and highlight it, that's a little misleading. And I don't think that it should be compared to what, it shouldn't be able to be compared to what Michael Jackson did. So, you know, but like I said, you know, Drake, you know, this is the age that we live in. And, I guess this is how it goes now. Another topic, that is, you know, being talked about, Dame Dash did a recent interview, where he basically said he was willing to sit down with Jay-Z to resolve their beef. Now, if you know, if you go back into the 2000s, early 2000s, Jay-Z and Damon Dash, you know, the Rockefeller split and, you know, basically ended the Rockefeller era. And, there's always been some level of friction in between them. Whether it was through Dame and Jay or Dipset and Jay, so I'm honestly like, I was a real fan of Rockefeller. I'm a real big fan of Damon Dash, real big fan of Rockefeller. So when the Rockefeller beef happened and it split, as a fan, I was devastated. I'm just like, what happened? It was always talked about, well, Jay-Z wanted to grow and Dame Dash wanted to do other things, and then other people, got in the middle of it. But nobody really got the real answer. I mean, then it was talks about Cam was made vice president while Jay was on vacation without his permission. So it was a bunch of different things. But I think at this point, Jay and Dame, their beef, it should be long settled, because where both of them are in life, they are still doing what they do at the top of their game. And it's not really a real issue at this point. Dame has been he's been flying around the world, opening up art galleries, getting into high-end fashion, doing this all independent. Like I just seen today, he's got his own sneaker with the company called Jaclair, called the CEOs. He's got his own glasses, the CEO vision. He has Damon Dash supplements. So it's really it shouldn't be an issue, because Jay's in his world. He's a multi-billionaire, family man, still living his life, doing what he's doing. So at this point, I don't see why they can't sit down and talk as men. Is there going to be some uncomfortable talks? Yeah, but if you really got love for a person and, you really want to settle this, then yeah, I think, it's a good thing for Dame and Jay to sit down and, have that discussion. Hold on a second. I'm still mad. Yeah, man, you're right. That was another one, when the Fat Boys broke up. That you taking us far back in our childhood. But yeah, I think it would be a good look for both of them to sit down and, dead beef, because it's really not. It really at this point, it's not about nothing other than just egos. So next topic is so Ye and Ty Dolla got a collaboration album that they just finished, and now they're shopping it. They I guess did an album release in Italy, or they played it for some people, and now they're shopping it, and it looks like they're meeting some resistance on a lot of the distribution platforms, which is to be expected. Everybody knows what Kanye did last year and the year before with his anti-Semitic rants and things that he said, disparaging remarks he made about Jewish people, and attacking any and every platform that he felt as though did him wrong or did somebody wrong. More so him, because it really was about his perspective. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have not been interested in anything Kanye has done, but I'm a fan of Ty Dolla, and it's somewhat interesting to know that they have a full collab album. But anything Ye is attached to nowadays, I tend to shy away from, because he's just, over the last, I would say, 5 to 7 years, post what he called the breakthrough, which everybody saw was a nervous breakdown. It just seems like it's whatever he does seems like it's just a ploy for marketing to promote something for him. Like Kanye, I always said Kanye's entire career was one big rollout. Everything that he did, just led to the rollout of something for him. So now, he's going to have a hard time getting on back into the good graces of these platforms where people, that he's disrespected and really made some remarks that you can't take back. It's going to be kind of hard for him to really, get some backing. I saw he had he was meeting, or somebody was interested, called Too Loose, which is like a music distribution and publishing company. But I don't know. But given that Kanye was a billionaire, and I'm sure he's still, pretty wealthy, I don't see why he just doesn't, invest in himself and create his own direct to consumer DTC platform. Whether you got to release it digitally or you want to partner with a vinyl company, to do some exclusives. But at this point, Kanye is pretty much an island to himself in the music as far as having corporate backing. I think the best thing he could do for himself, if he's going to release this, is to do it direct to consumer on his own platform, on his own website. Whether you're going to have it streamed or download, or he wants to sell some CDs or cassettes, however he wants to do it, because I think it's just going to be very, very hard for him to get somebody like a Universal, a Sony, a Columbia, a Interscope, or anybody at this point to back him. So I don't know. We have to see how that turns out. Next thing, so everybody knows Keffe D had been arrested for Tupac's murder. He had what you would call a proffer agreement, and he spoke about some things publicly on various platforms, from the Art of Dialogue to Vlad TV and different places, and then wrote a book about Tupac's murder. The gray area, or the fine print of this proffer agreement that he had, was that he could only talk about it the particular day that he was in custody, when he was indicted on a PCP ring. So once he talked about it the day after, now his immunity is gone. That's why he's in custody. So, and apparently there's reports coming out that, P. Diddy's name has been attached to him and Tupac's murder. And, P. Diddy actually reached out to Mo Preem, which is Tupac's brother, to assure him that he didn't have anything to do with the murder. There's a couple moving parts in this story, because on one hand, okay, Keffe D, I get it. You're a real G. You did what you did, and it's in your heart. You're a gangster, whatever. But why would you, publicly, talk about what you and your deceased nephew and your homies did, knowing this is an open murder case, and everybody knows there's no statute of limitations on murder? So, and especially for Tupac Shakur, the most beloved music artist, in the world, one of at least. So I don't get why he would even talk about that. And then, you wrote a book about it. So you just invited the feds, the state, and everybody to come in and have a reason why to book you and, convict you for a life sentence. And then having Diddy's name attached to it, everybody knows back in, the Pac and Biggie era, that they had beef, and Diddy said certain things on records. But I think it's going to be very hard to prove that, Diddy had anything to do with, Tupac's murder, regardless of whether he was, associated with Keffe D and the Crips. I mean, it's going to be hard. Diddy's a billionaire, so he's a very intelligent, billionaire. So it's like, you gotta really, you barking up a tree that you're not going to be able to really get out of, because he's got lawyer money way longer than you could ever believe. So I don't know how this is going to turn out. For Keffe D, it's looking like it's going to be bad. But Diddy, I don't really see how this is going, affect him in any way. I think this is just another way to keep his name in the conversation and, just to add more hype to the story. Speaking also Tupac, everybody knows the whole Will and Jada, I'll call it the Will and Jada gate, this this story, this story is just sad. It's embarrassing and it's tiresome. But the fact is, it's a real story. So everybody knows, Jada and Will have been having their problems, and apparently Jada has come out publicly and said that, in a past life, Tupac was her soulmate, and and that her and Will had already been separated 7 years prior to the Oscar, incident where Will slapped Chris Rock. This is a really touchy subject, because I don't get what Jada is trying to do by saying all of what she's saying, other than to you just dig at Will and really just emasculate him in front of the world. Okay, bad enough. Okay, if y'all have an open relationship or whatever it is, bad enough. You slept with your son's friend, which we all seen on the round table discussion her and Will had. But now you've gone to the point of just you're humiliating him. It's like he's already down on the ground. Now you're just kicking him down, pushing him, throwing dirt on him, taking his shoe off, hitting him with it, throwing garbage cans at him. It's like, how much more? What more do you want? His brand has been brutally, beaten. His name and his image is, tarnished. It's like now you're getting into the point where apparently you're writing a book and you're talking about, y'all private sexual life, and it's just you feel bad for Will, but in also since you kind of like Will as a man, at some point you got to stand up and say, enough is enough here. This is not gonna, this is not just gonna happen, and it's like, how long as a man are you going to sit quietly while your wife professes love and admiration for a man after she's already told you publicly she slept with another man in your house, and you're still just, trying to take the high road? At some point, that high road comes to a dead end, and you got to be like, nah, this ain't happening. I'm a man first. So it's sad, and I don't know. I don't know how Will just comes out of this other than to really just say, hey, I'm done. But speaking of Will, which leads into the last topic, Will actually did a response. I guess he saw some things that Jada said in her book, and or heard some things in an interview about her book, and he was like, when you spent half your life with somebody, you have an emotional blindness to the little nuances and their ways, because you're so in love and so attached to them. And there is some truth to that. When you really love somebody, and I can say this safely as somebody who was married, you do have some level of biases, and you try to ignore certain things. But when your life becomes a public spectacle, which has happened now, it's like you gotta reel it in, because now this public spectacle of your life starts to affect your children. It starts to affect your close family members, because now it's not just about you, it's about everybody. Because now people want to know, well, what does so-and-so think? What do the kids think? What do your nieces and nephews think? What do your mom think? So, Will, and I'm a fan of Will Smith. I'm a big fan of Will Smith. I think he's one of the best actors. I think he's one of the best, entertainers. As a rapper, he had a great run, and he did really well for himself. But as a man, Will Smith, as a man, bro, you gonna have to really you gonna have to put your foot in this. Like, you're gonna have to really start knocking some shit over. There's really no other way to put it. because now you're now becoming a public spectacle to where you're either the laughing stock or you're not taken seriously. And as a man, you want to be taken seriously because you're not somebody just to be played with and be made the butt of everybody's jokes. So, yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, other than, and I don't think that the answer for Will is to, come out and do his own book. That's not going to help anything. But at some point, you can be classy and be mature and take the high road. But at some point, you gotta stop it. You gotta just be real about the situation. It's no longer about protecting your image, protecting your brand, and not making people not want to do business with you. You gotta be a man about this. So yeah, that's that was the top hot topics on Monday. So y'all know we gonna be doing this. I'm really taking this seriously. I'm going to be back Thursday with the throwbacks. We're going to do 2 great throwback albums, do some classic albums. I'm going to do one for the males and I'm going to do one for the females, and we're going to discuss them. I'm going to interact with y'all if y'all got any questions, So, be on the lookout for that. When this video goes on YouTube, remember, like, share, subscribe, and comment. If you have not already, I'm going to say it again. If you have not already, go on my YouTube page, 410 Josh, hit the subscribe button. You want to start getting these videos. I check my inbox, so if you want to inbox me, you got any questions, you can inbox me. I will interact with you, So I'm going to be here. I'm going to give this about a couple more seconds, a couple more minutes. If anybody got any questions, anything that you want me to talk about that I didn't talk about, I'm going to give y'all couple seconds, couple minutes, you're going to see what y'all talking about, and then I'm going to head off. Sorry, y'all, but I was going to say this real quick. This is my favorite drink, this Pure Leaf Extra Sweet. I love these. If I could get a lifetime supply of this, I would be the happiest man in the world. Yeah, Lynette. Yeah. At some point, I'm knocking all the shit over. Like it's going to be a problem. It's like, I don't know if y'all remember that song Kanye had with Paul McCartney and Rihanna, 4 or 5 seconds from Wildin'. I would be like that at that point. So yeah. So look like nobody really got any questions. So I guess I will be checking out. I'm going to see y'all Thursday for Throwback Thursday. Hip-hop_4123. Your man 410 Josh. I will be back Thursday. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Subscribe to the page. Hit my inbox if you got any questions. I'm out. Peace.